Yeah, go live. There we go. Now we're on YouTube. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Omni Coalition Show, aka TOC Show. This is just when we just have an amalgam of things that we want to talk about, things that we found throughout the past week to talk about. But first and foremost, today is Sunday, aka Sunday, July 21st, 2024. I am A.O. Xander. Who am I joined by today?
Golden
Refuge.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And we have King's Refuge here, of course. And you viewers, thank you very much for coming in and watching us. Whether you're watching us live or sometime in the space-time continuum, it's irrelevant. But anyway, so let's start off with Sir King's Refuge here. So since the last time we did this show was about a week ago, like last Monday or so, we were talking about the whole debate and everything, and since then a lot has happened. So like before
was it pre-assassination attempt?
Yes. Yeah, no, like last month.
So that's happened too. Since your last show.
Yes, that was this weekend. I said last Monday.
Well, no. So the assassination was a week Saturday.
Oh. Yeah, no. So okay. So it's been over a week. That's right.
Yeah, week and a day.
So it's been 2 weeks since we did TOC Show. I don't know.
A lot has happened.
I don't know. Like, I am in mental whiplash right now, just because between that and if you looked at the title of today's episode, it's about AI, artificial intelligence. That's another major subject I want to cover into it and stuff. But before we go into those big subjects, like, is there anything interesting that's happened, in your world, King? Like, anything cool? Anything you want to talk about?
I don't know, man. Just trying to been keeping up with the news and then going out and draining my thoughts by checking up the river. So,
well, you've been going and fishing with
well.
A relative a lot recently, right?
Sweet, you've been fishing?
Yeah.
Oh, my buddy.
Yeah.
Nice. What do you catch generally?
I try to catch catfish generally.
I was wondering, catfish.
Yeah. I just like to throw my worm out there or whatever I'm using and just sit.
Now, catfish is pretty good eating, right? I've never had it.
Oh yeah, pretty meaty fish.
Nice.
Pardon me, I'm just adjusting the microphone here so I can catch Loon a little bit better.
I hear they're good eating.
Yeah. But no, like, as King told me, this friend of his has some extra time right now, and so they're both just taking advantage of like being able to go out and just because they go out on a boat. They don't just fish from the shores, but they actually go out on a boat, right? Like,
just shore mainly.
Okay. Haven't I seen you pictures of you in a boat or from a boat or something?
I had been out on boats, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So not as often as I thought, but still, regardless, like they're going out and they're fishing and they're just disconnecting. Like he's taken several videos. And like all you just hear is just like the silence of nature.
Oh
like,
yeah.
You just the
totally disconnecting, recharging, everything.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. Like honestly, I'm rather envious of that because like I remember going out and fishing at the lake that we have nearby. Like I used to have like a net. I had a whole tackle box.
Yeah.
I had all sorts
catch
of
and release
stuff. Yeah, it's catch and release. But I had all sorts of stuff. But anyway, like anything else you'd like to discuss?
That's about it.
Okay.
I've been really too busy.
What about you, Loon? Like anything interesting in your world the past couple weeks or so?
Yeah, there is. Not as glamorous as taking some time and kicking back and enjoying fishing, hiking, whatever it be.
We got to go boogie boarding. We just got to. At least once.
Yes, I know. We need to do that, but I'm a little bit hesitant. But mine is more business oriented, but it's still really exciting for me. Got a lot of new stuff coming down the pike from an unfortunate death from a fellow colleague of mine.
That's unfortunate.
It is, but he was also in his 90s, so we're kind of scoop up what was with him, so to speak. Anyways, and it's going to enable me to hit a lot of my goals for the future and all that good stuff. So it's exciting.
Yeah. By the way, King, did you hear the fan blowing into the mic earlier?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you're not catching it. I don't think.
Yeah,
It's
I'm not sure.
No, it's
So,
down here.
I just wanted to make sure. But yeah. So anyway, now I'm the same way. Like I don't really have much like interesting outside of the two main topics and subsequent branches and such they have to talk about. But before we get into it, like I'm gonna say this. All right, like I've been thinking about how to start all this. Now, first off, I want to lay the groundwork. Never, like 100%, just take whatever I have to say as fact. Like, if anything, use me as a springboard to advance your own self-education. I've been saying that the entire time. You will never get every piece of the puzzle. You have to make your own at times. Okay? Now, with that said, this whole Trump thing. All right. Now, I have never been a Trump supporter. Now, I'm not a Biden supporter. I'm not a Clinton supporter. I'm not a Bush supporter. I'm not an Obama. I'm none of those. Okay. I just want
no Democrat or Republican supporter. Gotcha.
Neither. Okay. But I just want to say, now I was not, and I still am not. But this recent events, and I don't want to use the words too often because I don't want to trigger any algorithms or anything. So like that's unfortunately the world we have. We have to make up our own euphemisms just to skirt the system. But anyway, no, this event that happened, like so many things are going on, and it's still like things are slowly landing, but there's still a lot of stuff up in the air, and there's still we're going to cover into all of that. All right. And like I've seen some videos, King here has seen some videos, Laloon here has seen some videos and to learn some stuff. So, but I just want to say, like, after everything that has happened, I might be voting for Trump this. As
you know, I'm a Trump fan.
Yes, yeah. Now,
so I'm going to give a big shout out. Woohoo! I'm going to hope.
Now, I want to explain why this is such a big deal, because everybody's going on, about like Trump's so great, Trump's this, Trump's that, yada yada. This miracle that happened, this act of God, yada yada. Okay, I never have discounted that. All right, now I've been thinking about this entire explanation and how to sum it up the best I can. Now, let's go back to 2015. All right. Hillary by then is already extremely notorious, politically worldwide, not just in our country, but worldwide. Ever since Bill Clinton, and I'm not sure if she had any history before that.
Well, she's the first lady. Oh, yeah. Governor of where were they from?
Georgia?
I wanted to say Georgia, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. He's a governor.
Okay, what I'm saying is she was already known, like, I believe all of this was before 2015. If I'm wrong, please correct me. The whole Benghazi situation, the whole email situation, the whole just her laptop thing, the whole phone thing, breaking her phone, selling uranium, or like half of our deposit to Russia and all that stuff. Now she was
25% in-ground uranium, yeah.
Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. She's dealing with Russia, okay. And then during 2015, she's turning around, and she's accusing Trump of having ties, of having connections with Russia, and all that stuff.
She was a Secretary of State, which is a very high-ranking official.
Thank you. I wanted to bring that up as well. Like so,
when all Benghazi and all that's going on, and
from all of the things that she's notorious for, to like how long she's been in government, she's been around. Now in 2016, I knew for a fact that Trump was going to win, because at this time. I already know, like, once again, like, I'm explaining all this just to lay out the groundwork to explain why this is such a big deal for me personally, as to why I would
fair
even,
because you're talking old history.
I know, but I'm just condensing everything, So I already know about, like, the Rothschilds and everything, and there's actually this video here from Dr. Dude, The Collapse of the American Dream Explained in Animation. Highly recommended. I will be posting this in the underbar section after the show. I strongly advise watching this because this explains a whole bunch of stuff involving all of that, and Woodrow Wilson and all that stuff, which we universally hated between everybody I know. You, Loon, hate it. You and I, King, we both say that Woodrow Wilson is the worst president in the history of the United States. Like, people would say that Biden is worse, but I would say if it wasn't for Wilson, none of this would be going on. So you got to give credit to the beginning.
When you really judge a president for his value to the country, it's over time.
Yes.
Biden, you can't say he's the worst because we don't know what his repercussions are going to be over time.
He's done horrible things that affect us immediately.
He may be horrible for 4 straight years, horrible, and it's irrelevant to everything.
Yeah.
You take someone like Ronald Reagan, who established a whole different direction for this country for 20 years or so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think...
and that was called the Reagan era, right?
Yeah, the Reagan era.
Yeah.
And then other presidents, I don't want to go into for catchwords and stuff like that, but you got to look over time. That's what the real telling story is. It's not the 4 years they're in office and how horrible they were.
So, like, potentially Biden can just be a really nasty pothole, but, like, not, like
his big thing
a
could
washout,
His biggest thing could be, if it could be lasting, is illegal immigrants coming into the country.
Well,
that could be long-term lasting.
Now, anyway, let's get back on point here. What are you building, King?
That's firecrackers going on.
Oh, okay.
People are celebrating down here somewhere.
I thought you found a spider and you're methodically hammering it with your shoe.
I thought maybe you were building a shed or something.
Yeah, no, I'm just imagining you in the corner just like, wham, with the shoe. Get over here.
What are you talking about?
No, but anyway, so like I knew in 2016 because like about like the whole all the Rothschilds. Now you can call it the Illuminati, you can call it the shadow government, you can call it the New World Order, like all of this stuff. Like one thing I strongly believe, is everybody like in this nation at least, like who has any interest in any political anything that's what's going on. I think that there's one thing that we can all universally agree on is there's a lot of shadow behind the door stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay? Now, with that said, I still vote. I personally believe because, like, as Joseph Stalin said, it is not the vote that matters, but he who counts the vote that does. All right? Now, I've been saying, now once again, I'm just saying, like, this is all the groundwork, of to everything that's been going up in my mind, up until 2015, and then we're going to go up from there. Okay? So, like, I once again, I don't, like, 100% believe in everything. I take everything, like I think of every contingency. Because when all you can do is sit up and stew in your room, all you do is think, So, I always, as the saying goes, expect or hope for the best, plan for the worst.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, I hope I'm wrong. Like, I've always said, I hope I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Cool. If I'm right, we're in trouble.
And there's a point to this. What's the hope you're wrong and right part?
What I hope I'm wrong is that, about many things, but, like, in this certain topic about voting, I believe that, it's just a giant facade, because what better way to keep the thumb on the common man than the illusion of a voice? Now you have them just, like, completely, totally, culturally gaslit into believing that voting actually counts. Maybe it does, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Cool, then it does. If I'm right, then we have a problem. Okay, that's where I'm going with that. All right. Now, anyway, so whatever the case, be it he actually won legitimately, if voting actually does work, or whatever it is. I knew that Trump was going to win in 2016 because Hillary, his opponent, was already known completely worldwide. She has such a trail and everything. Trump was a wild card, and as far as I'm concerned, whether I'm right or wrong with voting was irrelevant because Trump was going to win regardless. Because here's the next play. He is the perfect blank slate for the powers that be that control him, and believe me. Once again, like I say, shadow government, Illuminati,
Go ahead.
whatever it is that you want to call it, they're all under the same control. It doesn't matter if it's right, left, red, blue.
I adamantly disagree. So yeah.
Okay, well, see, here's the thing: with the amount of people who just are no longer around, who were around Hillary, okay, like if somebody like Trump really was not part of the system, if somebody like Elon Musk was not part of the system, then they would be dealt with swiftly. Like how many people has Hillary been around that are no longer around anymore? You know, I mean, like look at the Epstein guy. You know, like.
Well, they certainly tried with Trump.
Well, we're gonna get to that. So, like as I said, like this is all a giant build-up to explain everything. Like that's been going on in my mind. And everything.
For the point. Hey, go.
Okay, you don't need to be nasty about it.
No, I'm not nasty.
Anyway, man, you just kind of got me off of my track there.
Sorry. Regroup.
Okay. So basically, Trump was a perfect wild card. Either everything is legitimate, and things are going to play the way they play, or he will do everything, and like everything for the system that I believe still, like right now, this is why all this is important, because right now my belief in him being actually a puppet is possibly changing. That's why I might be voting for him.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my major. That's why I'm building up all of this to fully explain it. So whatever the case, like he did what he did. Let's not forget he expedited the vaccine. All right.
Sure enough.
Let's not forget that Elon Musk wants to put a chip in your brain. I don't want to go on a whole thing about Elon Musk and how he works with China, with Tesla, and how all that stuff for the lithium, and that's a whole different topic. Okay. My point is that Trump did what he did, and in 2020, I knew for a fact that Biden would win. And Laloon, you can account to this. You remember me saying
no
that?
Way. Yeah, I said no way is he going to win.
Because and this is why, because I believed, and I still kind of do right now. But as I said, it's on the fence, not over the fence.
Very good.
But that like he did what he did, and he's built up an entire like group of people around the MAGA people, and all that stuff. Meanwhile, like all the other things, the rhinos are going on, and all that stuff, and that'll come into play here in a minute. All right. And then he did what he needed to do, and then the system will bring in Biden because so that way to cause civil discourse. Because if you look around you, this country is so divided. Like you say this almost on a daily basis. This country is so divided; it is flabbergasting.
And you know what's amazing? Just to jump in on that point that you're talking about, people are now starting to talk about Abraham Lincoln and how similar everything is today, and it is so similar. It's amazing, and nobody's ever talked about it until I've just started hearing some things today about the division of this country, the hatred, and obviously Lincoln was assassinated. But yeah, and it's, what I think about the 80-year cycle, well, that's 160 years ago. 80, 80, and now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the whole pendulum theory, the 80-year cycle, as you say, that comes into play as well, and all that stuff.
80 years ago, by the way, was World War II. Just to give you my Lincoln, World War II, today. 80 year, and today. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah. Now, anyway, so as I said, and this kind of confirmed my suspicions. Now they also said that the Democrats stole the election, all that stuff. That whole thing happened. Like I don't want to get into every little detail, every little thing that happened. But if anybody's interested, like you can look it up yourself.
Well, you know what no one ever talks about? Hillary claimed that the election was stolen from her in 2016, and today she will say yes, he was an illegitimate president.
Okay.
Nobody talks
anyway,
about it. Anyways, go ahead.
The point I'm making is, to me, it validated that elections have always been, not always, but like have been rigged for a long time. Like at some point, people just stopped paying fully attention because it's a social stigma to talk about politics. Like why are we not allowed to publicly interact with each other as citizens of the sovereign nation about one of the things that really makes this nation great, voting. Like that's one of our strongest things, and we don't talk about it amongst ourselves. Why?
Why do you say we can't interact and talk about it?
Well, it's a stigma. Like you don't do it. Like that's a societal thing. Like in our culture, that's like a no thing. You don't talk about politics. You don't talk about religion. You don't bring it. You don't bring sports. Into the mix.
I don't know about that, but
well,
yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, like when we were going to dinner with your side of the family, what was one of the rules? No politics and no.
Well, we're trying to have
religion.
a family dinner, and we didn't want to start arguments.
Exactly.
So but still, one-on-one, you get in small groups, you can talk. You can
but see, right there, that's the stigma, because we believe, like. We, as a family, we think so little of each other that we can't think that we can handle opposing viewpoints from within our own family.
I didn't say we couldn't handle it. We just wanted an enjoyable evening.
Anyway,
and that was, you come to my house, that wouldn't be the rules.
But because that's the rule because of the stigma, because you assume it might not be enjoyable. Like that's a whole like psychology and all that stuff. Like as I said, there's a million things going on. Yeah. Like in my head and all that stuff. And
But I will whenever I go anywhere, I will always honor the host, whosever house it is.
Yes.
I will honor their rules 100%.
Well, I'm not saying don't. What I'm saying is why is that a thing?
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
Okay, but normally, like that's usually the thing. Like when you go anywhere, you don't bring up politics, you don't bring up religion, you don't bring up sports, you don't bring up this, you don't, like. It's just ingrained in our culture, no talking about politics, and which is I just find strange because that's one of the greatest things, that's one of the things that makes this country great is the free elections and all this, so it seems to be free elections. Anyway, getting back onto the main topic, whether they actually stole the elections or whether, like I'm saying, it doesn't matter. 2020 validated my belief, my most subscribed to theory.
Yeah.
Now, once again, with voting, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay, cool. If I'm right, then we have a problem. You see where I'm going with this?
Yes, I do.
Now, 2024, like this whole nation is in complete and total chaos. The whole world is on fire. And once again, if anybody has any idea about what's going on, now let's get to this instance here, this situation that happened a week and a change ago with the assassination.
Yeah.
Now, we've all watched some videos about, a lot of videos about the angle, about this, about that, Secret Service. Apparently the roof that Crooks was on was the roof of the section of the building that was the police section or something. What was it again?
Building behind. Actually, they originally reported that it was going to be the central. I think it was for the local, but it could have been for the not FBI, but the Homeland Security center. But it wasn't. It was the building behind it. That was the center.
It's still right there.
Which they could have looked out of on the top floor. They looked over that building. It was higher.
It's right there.
So if anyone was upstairs, they could have looked at it through a window.
Yeah, it's right there. And we've also seen that Pac-Man diagram where their circle of influence, just this one section that just so happened to be where Crooks was in, is not in their circle of coverage. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, right now, I am fully convinced that there is no less than 2 shooters, maybe 3, because there's been various videos. You first hear like a badunk, 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 and then a and then a
whole different sound.
There's at least 2, maybe 3 different guns, and then a good 5 seconds after that, then the Secret Service shot that took out Crooks. And there's an open window on the 2nd floor behind Crooks in that area. But there's so many videos out there. I don't want to get into all that. What I'm saying is,
there's a guy on the water tower as well.
Oh yeah. So, what I'm saying is, take into account everything I've already said about all this stuff, my theories, my most likely case scenarios, my if I'm right, if I'm wrong. Take everything I said, and then bring all of this into a head. Not pun not intended, but well, I'm not sure if it's even welcomed right now. But I want to play this really quick. Okay, there is no way this could be staged. There's no way this could be choreographed because there's photos of with the bullet. You see the red circle and all this stuff. Now, unless they Photoshop that.
Well, anything they can do anything with AI.
Yeah, I know, but let me play this really quick. Now this is going to be in real speed. So normally this video is in half speed. I sped it up to real speed.
Take a look at what happened.
Not for the bullet though. Well, maybe the bullet, but still down here, you see, just there's no way to choreograph. The instant he turned, the bullet is flying by. it takes longer to travel from the gun to the target than it did for him to turn his head.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore there is no time, even if you're like the best marksman, the best time, you know, and somehow Trump is a master of choreography, there's no way to stage this.
No.
You know, absolutely no way to stage this. And even if like because people are going out there and saying that he staged this, well, people got hit and people, you know, that one guy died. I really don't think, well, then again, if he was part of the system, he wouldn't care. But like, there's no way to stage this. There's flat out, like, you know,
no,
like, you know, unless you like some of the more out there fringe things and all that stuff, but still, like, it's taken literally an act of God for me to start considering voting for Trump, and that's the whole point that, you know, like, all of this has led to.
Okay,
like,
fair enough, yeah. Like,
you know, this, because after that, like, you know, he's stand up, he's saying fight, fight, fight,
yeah,
and all that stuff. If this really, I don't know, like, if the deep state is as you know, smart and everything, they're so far ahead of me, there's no way that I can even understand. But like, there's, you know, at least 2, maybe 3 shooters. And am I boring you?
Well, no, I'm listening.
Okay. There, you know, so
well,
multiple people wanted him dead. Like, I think that either Crooks was organic, or he was sent by BlackRock. Now, then
it's not either or. There's all kinds of possibilities.
Well, or groomed or whatever. But Crooks was Crooks. Then there's the other guy. Was he from Clinton? Was he from Obama? Was he from Biden? You know, like who knows? And then there's a potential other guy. There's 2 or 3 guns pointed at him, and like, they all fire. You can hear the distinctly 2 to 3 different firing shots and styles, and he's not taken out. Like,
well, once he's down, you're not going to get him.
Well,
it's not just 3 different.
But see, like,
it's not just 3 gunmen. It's 3 different guns as well.
See, and the whole point, like, you know, something I forgot to mention is, like, the Georgia Guidestones. Like, they had written in stone that the world population will be no more than 500 million, and that's it. And then the whole thing happened. They're trying to, you know, erase that history, because somebody went in there and destroyed one of the stones, and then they just, instead of repairing it, they just got rid of the whole thing. And, you know, that's a whole conspiracy in and of itself. But, like, you know, as I said, like, what right now, like, my belief that's being shaken is, like, as I said, with Trump maybe being an agent of, like, you know, the deep state, whatever, the system or whatever, what better way to draw out anybody who even potentially has an iota of rebellious nature against you than have them flock towards a false idol that you just so happen to control. And that's what I believed Trump to be. But there's no way to stage this.
Well, let me interject with a little bit now that we're talking about the actual event. I am one that wants facts in front of me. I don't like to go to theories. And, you know, 2 shooters, 3 shooters.
A fact today could be a false tomorrow. You know, you never have facts. So all you have is theory.
All that's been put in front of me. I'm saying it's a general rule, not particularly.
That's exactly how I work too.
Okay. So I don't like to go into theories. Could be, you know, this and that. I've done the opposite with this. I've gone right to different things to try to make common sense. And I go, why am I doing that so different than what I normally would do?
Yeah.
One simple answer, which makes perfect sense for me. I hope, against all hope, that it wasn't just a one-man show, because our Secret Service was so inept, I can't believe that they would be that bad. And I'm hoping against all hope there's a whole something behind it.
And that brings up another thing. The head of the Secret Service, you know, the person who refused any coverage for Kennedy and is the reason why Trump had so little.
Denied his additional,
Yeah. She also has ties with the rhinos.
Yes. Well, yes.
Explain.
There's I don't want to go into it because it's all theory, but there's a lot of.
Well, no, just say the facts. Like
they're not facts.
No. Okay, no. The facts are that she was nominated.
Okay, let me
explain. The facts are that she was nominated by Joe Biden, right? She was put into that position by
Jill
Joe Biden?
Yeah.
Jill Biden. Not Joe.
She wanted
Jill.
him. Joe Biden put her in there.
Okay.
Joe Biden's the only one that could.
Okay.
He put her in there.
And
she liked her, apparently.
okay, so right there, she liked her. I'm not saying that she said anything. Let's just put out what we know. She liked her. Yeah. And then wasn't she also something involved in the security with Dick Cheney? She had some position under him.
She was her personal Secret Service. She was with him as a Secret Service agent to protect him.
Okay, now
I don't know how many she had under her or over him, but they definitely have ties together.
Now, once again, and I want to fully, completely, and totally make sure that you understand. I'm not saying that she did anything. I'm just saying where she was. Okay.
Of course not.
Now, who is Dick Cheney with? George Bush.
Yeah.
Who are the Bush dynasty? They're the rhinos. They hate Trump.
Yeah.
You know, all of the. I'm not sitting here and putting any lines connecting.
On behalf of the Bushes.
Okay.
Dick Cheney was the real mover and pusher of the hate Trump movement.
Oh yeah.
To me.
Now, what I'm doing is essentially like you know that meme where, with Charlie with the cork board and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not putting the strings together, but I'm putting the things on the cork board.
Yeah.
It's up to you to put it together. Okay, that's what I do.
Okay.
All right. I never say this is this is that.
Fair enough.
I say okay. Now. That's why I'm saying the rhinos could be another entity, between the 2 to 3 shooters. They could be that. It could be.
You're forgetting one other person. Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, who we're talking about, Vice President Bush, daughter. She was in the as a Republican, but she's a rhino. She was on the January 6th, pushing to eliminate Trump, not. By bullet, but I mean eliminate him.
Off the board,
to convict him, let's say.
Yeah, to indict
So
him.
there's also another attachment. She claims in a book that that she wrote that she had ties to the Secret Service that gave her information to January 6th through they gave it to her voluntarily without subpoenaing it. And without disclosing what it was. So she's saying there was ties to that part of the Secret Service, which puts that whole cabal together.
Yeah.
Moving on, if you want to put pins on the cork board.
But see, here's the thing. On top of all that other stuff, and there's so many other avenues and so many other things that we can bring up and all that stuff just to make this conversation forever long. But I'm sitting here, I'm still thinking, what if, there's no reason, really, unless they, really want to, sell the authenticity of it, to, once again, to stage this, and all that, and if he is part of, part of the system, on top of the fact that he already had this in the bag, there's no reason to build up even more support, you know,
No advantage for, sympathy, but that's really a minimal deal. It wasn't like he's losing and trying to come back.
But see, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I can sit here and I can think of things all day long, go down every avenue just to be here to try to take a firm stance, and that's not what I'm about. I can't think of anything else that can happen that can, make me consider that I'm wrong in everything I believe, or at least in anything involving Trump. Maybe he really is, a man of the people. Maybe everything on the surface level is true, And
I look at it that way. That's my own personal opinion.
Now this is it's very unusual for me, but I'm putting myself in the position of, if I'm wrong, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
And if I'm right, then so what? It's completely opposite of my nature, but
Yeah, it's unusual for you to step out like this. It is. Absolutely is. And just another point of interest, the foundation of the hate Trump movie, we're talking about Cheney and Bush and all that.
Yeah.
Where all that came from. Do you realize where that came from? That came from the 2016 elections, where until Trump got in, Jeb Bush, baby brother, was the anointed one. He was going to be the next president of the United States. Trump came in and literally destroyed the guy and embarrassed him.
Yeah.
And that
so now they're all salty.
And what really sprung it into action is he actually won the election. That really made him angry.
Yep. Now, does anybody like King? Like, we've seen quite a few videos about all this. Like, do you have anything to add? Like, about this whole like attempt, about anything that's falling into place? Like, we haven't been told about the ballistics numbers.
Nothing.
Like,
they haven't said that they've even found the shells on the roof.
That's then.
Nothing.
I can't.
At least I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
I'm not scouring the internet or anything to find out, but.
We're also supposed to believe that some 20-something-year-old doesn't have any social media out there at all.
Well, that's the other thing. Like Discord, I haven't heard anything about this since then, but like I haven't seen this being disproven either. But Discord itself deleted his account, the actual company Discord, which is very suspicious. And then they turned around and said like, oh, he had nothing compromising or whatever. Like, okay, but then why are you?
And then I've heard just once or twice, and I don't even know what they were, but foreign cryptid accounts that they're trying to break. What 20-year-old has foreign cryptid accounts?
Yeah, and then we're going back into he had that tie with BlackRock. He was in that one commercial that one time.
Yeah.
So was this a BlackRock thing? Like, did they groom him? Was he organic? And then who was the second guy? Like, was that Obama? Was that Hillary? Was that Biden? Was that the rhinos? Was that somebody else? What about the potential third guy? With so many people and so many things, it's still like there's so many things still up in the air, as I said at the beginning of the show, that it's still a scramble.
That's why I want it to be something beyond a stupid 20-year-old. It just has to be. Please tell me. We're not that stupid as a Secret Service. But then,
once again, that's why I said I'm bringing in the rhinos again because of the potential link between the current head of the Secret Service.
No, there's all kinds of links.
Dick Cheney.
I got it.
Yeah, no, I know you got it. I'm not talking to you. I'm just talking to the camera.
Yeah.
I know you got it. Everything I've said around you multiple times.
Yeah. Fair enough. No, I'm reacting.
I'm just making sure that the audience is on board with this, because Pete's here was saying not sure where the point is, but I'm willing to stake my flags here. 2024 is already decided. Yeah, no, that's why I said it took me a while to get to my point because there is so much to bring into consideration to fully articulate what I wanted to say. From everything that's going on in my mind, all these potentials, all these contingencies and all that stuff. As I said, all I do all days is make videos and I think and I chill and all that stuff, and I don't want to really get into the reason why, but I live in California, so.
Let me say one thing that's breaking today, and you already know about, probably everybody else does too.
Yeah.
That Biden has resigned.
Yes.
He's gonna.
And he's endorsing Kamala.
Yeah, he's
Speaking of endorsing, Elon Musk is endorsing Trump, so there we go.
But he's not. But he fell short. He's endorsing her, but he's not demanding that his representatives vote for her, because there it is. He owns them. No one can touch him. So he could say, "I'm resigning. You have to vote for Hillary." Not Hillary.
Kamala.
He didn't say that. He's supporting her.
Yeah.
So he's letting it go to convention and fight. Now, what I did want to say is one thing. I've only seen this letter of his resigning once on TV. I happened to see it. And it took me 2 or 3 hours later. I go, wait a minute. There was no presidential seal on that letter. What the hell? There has to be a presidential seal on that letter.
Yeah.
That's just... They don't communicate in any way without that on the heading.
Yeah.
And I thought back, what's wrong with that? I'm looking at it, and it dawned on me. There's no seal on that thing, or whatever they call the heading. I don't know.
The seal.
So that's weird.
Yeah, that is strange. But let me read some of these Pete's comments here. It's not respect or viewing others in a lesser light. It's the incapacity of this modern America to entertain spirited debate without tarnishing their view of the other party. Mm-hmm. So in regarding to like the stigma about not talking politics and all that stuff.
Families and stuff.
And we've gotten like over this is nothing new. All of this divisiveness, all this abrasiveness, all this stuff it's been slowly building for generations. So like the inability to talk about politics and religion and sports, which is arguably religion as well. That's why I've been bringing that up as too, because people cling to their own beliefs without the ability to like respect others. Like for whatever reason, that is becoming a more like normal thing in people.
Yeah.
Like their attitudes, whatever.
But I think it's changing.
Yeah.
Little by little.
Yeah. He also says when we were talking about the speed of the bullets, okay, yada yada, it takes 0.16 seconds. So like I'm not sure.
Takes 16? No. Wait.
Point.
Oh,
point.
Okay.
16.
I'm gonna go, man. That's a slow walking bullet.
Yeah.
No. That's a nanosecond to me.
What are Kimberly Cheadle's was also on Biden's detail, or so I've heard. Who's Kimberly Cheadle?
I'm not sure.
I've heard the name, but VP. I don't know. And then he's also saying, I'll try to holler at you and your pop once I'm out of the shower. Well, maybe I'll be Mr. Brightside. I typically am. Want to discuss the possibility of incompetence. Oh, Pete wants to discuss the possibility of incompetence with you.
Yeah, well, that's what my biggest fear is.
Yeah.
This Yahoo 20-year-old worked on his own. He's a solo guy, and our Secret Service, whoever was there, is so inept. It's unbelievable.
Well, that's the thing.
And that's like the me and Xander's have been getting into like the worst of it, but you're getting into like the best possible thing it could possibly be. That's incompetence, which is
I think that's the worst possible thing.
That's a whole set of problems right there.
Well, no, that's the best possible thing it could be, because the reason why I keep bringing the reason why I keep bringing up the rhinos and Dick Cheney and the lady who controls the Secret Service is, what if this was a whole plot and the Secret Service was intentionally being I'm probably going to get in trouble for using this word, but if you, I'm not belittling anyone's intelligence. I'm just using the dictionary definition of the word. Retarded. Yeah. I'm saying they retarded the ability of the Secret Service intentionally, because it was all part of the whole scheme. I'm saying that this is a theory. Okay, yeah. I'm not saying this is what happened.
Right.
Now this is a theory. This is why, now I'm putting the strings together. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the head of the Secret Service is the same person who has ties directly with who was put there by Joe Biden, liked by Jill Biden, his wife. She had affiliation with Secret Security with Dick Cheney, who Dick Cheney shot his friend in the face with a shotgun, by the way. That's.
I don't think, did he shoot him in the face?
Yes, he did.
I thought it was on the butt or something.
No, face.
Yeah, he did.
Shot him in the face.
Friend apologized.
He didn't die though.
No, he was birdshot.
No, he didn't die.
No, but he just peppered the fuck out of his head.
Well, he was probably
peppered him up, man.
So get shot in the face.
But I bring that up to bring up the attitude. Like he accidentally shot his own friend. There's a whole conspiracy behind all that. Like he was trying to get rid of him in an accident. But anyway, I'm putting all out there, and now I'm tying it all together. And this is like the one of the at least two potential assassins might have been from the rhinos, because they have a direct in to the Secret Service to allow it to happen.
Okay, let me interject more for your theories here, if we're going in that route. The thing that changed a lot of stuff for me, and I about fell over backwards, is there was a whole bunch of Homeland Security people interjected into this thing. Now you want to get into the real meat and potatoes
to cover what the extra
power play from the anti-Trump, the never Trumpers, the haters. Mm-hmm. I would say it'd be more likely through Homeland Security than.
Okay, but explain why.
Service.
Explain why Homeland Security was there.
Well,
because they were there.
Okay, you asked me. Because President Bush, created Homeland Security.
That's not what I asked.
Oh, what were you asking?
Why were they there?
We don't know.
No. The reason why they were there was because that the numbers of the Secret Service agents
were there spread too thin, or what?
Yes, exactly. So they were there as substitute backup, as were extra police officers. That one lady, who like we've seen in the meme that she's sitting there ducking, like way behind, off by herself. Yeah. She was a Homeland Security, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's why they were there. Not like who made them. No, like we all know who made them. George W. Bush. Yeah. But they were there. Now that could be also an additional tie-in, as you said, with that whole thing. But you'd think that with the head being that lady, if they were going to pull that move, they already have the head there. Why are they going to bring in more inept agents? Like. They were, because it was after, after all was said and done, that one guy, the agent, actually did fire, and once again, I haven't been told that this has been disproven yet, but the guy the agent who killed Crooks, he was told to stand down multiple times. Like he said that he had eyes on him for 2 to 3 minutes at least, and he was told repetitively. Like he kept saying over the comm, "Hey, I have a shot. Stand down. Don't take the shot. Do nothing." And then after he took him out, he was fired after being interrogated by the FBI. So, there's so many fucking pieces on this board. It is astounding.
See, here's what worries me: that it's one Yahoo up there that
it wasn't just one Yahoo.
But I'm just saying that's what scares me the most.
Yeah,
he actually pulled it off. Because what you're talking about, why did all these people come in? Because if you've seen the head of the Secret Service, whatever her name is, she checks off all the boxes. She wants 33 or 40% women. She wants certain. Yeah. She's doing the woke thing. So, here we go. We get into wokeism. Things get inept. Mm-hmm. I'm worried about wokeism now in our military. Holy cow! Where are they at? Are they going to be able to fight worth a damn?
No.
I don't know.
Nurses.
I've seen it in education. What are we doing now? We're having crazy ass books for kindergartners.
Well, it
goes everywhere.
It's
infiltrated everywhere.
This goes into my grander theory that the entire world, once again, the Rothschilds and all that stuff, and without getting into all that, the whole world, I believe, at least the banks, it's known that the Rothschilds own and control the majority, if not all, of the central banks of every country in the entire world, except for one or two. And one of them being North Korea. I don't know what the other one being, but and that's a whole conversation of itself. But I view everything that's happening as these are all pre-organized, things that were planned 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. These are all moves on a stage towards an ultimate goal, because we're talking about people who are disconnected. What's the first thing we think about recently when we talk about actors, actresses, social media influencers, politicians, rich people, and all that stuff? One of the first words that most people say is disconnected. Mm-hmm. Well, they are disconnected, okay, but how are they disconnected? How are they viewing the world? Well, how would you view the world when you have so much power, wealth, and influence and all that stuff? You would view it like how you would view a video game user interface. You have all these powers, you have all these abilities and everything. Now you gotta okay, well, if I do this, that'll make the people mad. So I gotta build a park here, and that'll make the people happy, and then I'll do this while they're distracted with that. It's literally everything that they do politically, and just locally, statewide, national, international, all that stuff. You can on par it with the moves of a video game. How would you do it if you were playing a simulation of the world and you were evil, and as the argument goes, if I am wrong about this theory or that, I'm not saying about any theory I've said, I'm just saying in a general sense. If somebody comes to you and they're oh, blah blah, and it's a theory, that sounds outlandish or whatever, but ask yourself this: if you had the powers and the abilities to do evil and everything, how would you do it differently than how it's being done? And if you can answer that question, then I'll step back. You know?
Well, I was born at a very strange time, and it's very specific, and I have a lot of different outlooks on certain things just because of the timetable of things as I grew up. And you got to remember, back in the 40s, I have no idea. I was too little.
Yeah.
But in the 50s, I had enough sense that, and looking back on it, I'm right, that this country was really conservative. God bless America, church is great, you know, whatever it was. It's very, very conservative.
Oh, yeah.
And you have McCarthyism in there in the 50s and everything like that, right into the 60s. So as I'm just getting out of high school, what happens? Vietnam War. What happens? Everything changes on a dime. On a dime meaning a year or two. All of a sudden there's rebellions, there's the hippy-dippy generation, and I'm a group thinker, and I'm right along with it all. And it changes. The country flips. And it wasn't like communism wasn't here. It was just very underground, very sedated, because it had been really stymied by the conservative right.
Really stifled.
So what happened to the hippy-dippy generation? All the young people against the Vietnam War. Then it was make love, not war. Then it was against the society, what it's creating. And in sneaks sees the Communist Party, sees an opportunity, runs with it. So what are now they chanting in another couple of years? We need teachers so our point of view can be taught and so everybody can hear it. And boom, here we are, 60, 70 years later.
Yeah. It's a slow process.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, I have some weird perspectives. I know it sounds weird, but it's absolutely real life to me. It's real life to me.
But see, like, you know, like, this is, like, once again, as I said at the top of the show, I think of, like, not just, like, the worst thing, but I think the worst comprehensible thing. Like, you know, like, because, you know, the worst thing would be that, you know, these politicians are, like, you know, like alien shapeshifters or interdimensional beings, or that we're all just brains in jars. There's so many worse things. But what I'm saying is, within our reality, within reason, like, what is the worst possible contingency that could be explained and comprehended to be a reality? Now, you talk about things. I don't want to say superficial because that sounds like I'm downplaying, and I'm not. Like, you're talking about, like, you know, before your eyes stuff. You've seen this stuff play out, as you just said.
Right.
You've seen this stuff play out before your eyes. You have that story about, you know, the people, like, you know, up in that demonstration they were having. And they were saying, "Oh, we're being stifled, yada yada."
Yeah.
And the conservative guy got up on stage and they booed him off stage and everything, and it's completely hypocritical.
And that was the seed that was planted for me, saying, "Wait a minute, what are you shutting the guy up for?
Yeah,
we want to hear from everybody."
You've seen that play out before your eyes. Now there's seeing, and then there's beyond that. Like, is there something more behind that we're not seeing?
Well, like, you move up a number of years later, quite a few years later, almost recently. So a lot's moving on, and, you know, it's moving in the direction of the left. It's not enough. They realize it's not enough. So what they have to do? Create division.
Yes.
And now we are today. Here we are today.
What I'm saying
is more hate's growing between blacks and whites, browns and
everybody's got their own little box now.
Yeah.
So division, divide and conquer.
Yeah.
So they need a tool to divide.
That's why they need 72 genders.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's genders, and they've found all kinds of things to divide us.
Now, before I introduce Pete into the show, by the way, welcome, Pete, but I'll give you a formal welcome here in a minute. But I just want to say that on, you know, there's a surface level, and then, you know, there's the conspiratoriety level and all that stuff. And what I'm saying is, like, what's the possibility of, like, as far down as at least when they started, you know, bringing the teachers into the schools, like, when were the Rothschilds involved? Like, not just independent people and, you know, people thinking about, you know, like, on their own little thing, and they start, you know, becoming the bad apples that spoil the bunch. When did the deep state get into these various things and use them to move entire nations towards a certain thing. Because, as I said, like, the whole thing about Trump being as I believed, and I'm slowly being turned away from this, most likely case scenario of him truly being a puppet. Because when the system is ready to fulfill what it said on the Georgia Guidestones, all right, like, they won't do a genocide. They won't do this. They won't do that. But they'll do everything all at once. And who are the first people that they'll go after? The people who have made themselves known to be against the system. The first ones on the line are the Trump supporters. If I'm right. I'm not saying this is fact. I'm just saying, this is all my theory and all that stuff. Like, and there's so many other factors, and you can go into, like, the Zika virus, you can go into Bill Gates, you can go into the whole COVID thing. Like, as I said, like, everything is connected. We will be sitting here talking for 18 hours to fully explain everything. Like, it's
and you'll decide nothing. So
yeah, exactly. But like, it's just I'm just trying to figure out if Trump truly is what we perceive him to be. And this whole shooting thing, as I said, is what is really making me question all the possibilities. Because there's no reason to boost him even more, like, I'm all, people like me, like, I'm already, like, like, online explaining, like, where I stand. I'm already, known, I guess, if anything, to be against the system, so I don't have to be a Trump supporter.
Right.
The only reason for to set up a situation like this would to get, like, the very last clingers of anyone who can possibly be turned, but they're already known. There's no reason to turn them. There's no reason to turn me.
Right.
Right. And if people are going to hate Trump no matter what, then this is never going to, like, there's nothing you can do after because it was obvious, it seemed obvious to me, like, all the mudslinging, all the slander, all the bashing, everybody loves an underdog. Everybody loves helping somebody getting kicked down on the curb, and that's what they were doing metaphorically to Trump. Constantly, with all this indictments, with all this, with all that, all the hate. I mean, hell, after this assassination attempt, they're like mocking the size of the bandage on his ear. Like, are you really, like, just that hateful? Like, so it's like, there's no reason to go through this much elaboration, because this is what it did. This is what it took to turn me.
Right, I gotcha. I gotcha.
So the only thing that makes the most sense is that Trump is who he seems to be on the surface level. That all this time, my most likely case scenario was wrong. And once again, if I'm wrong, cool, okay. So what?
Yeah, right. Okay? I gotcha.
So I'm not giving up anything. It's not like it's not like It isn't a major thing for me, like, to change my mind.
Yeah.
But,
well, you've always said to me, Trump is one wing, Biden's the other wing of the same bird.
Not Trump or Biden, just both sides.
Yeah, they're both sides. Yeah, that's
all
why
of
I'm
them.
using names so you
all
know
of them, though.
I got you.
Trump, Biden,
and
Bush, Hillary.
Here's
all
what I
of them.
say: if that's true, then we're just screwed.
That's what I'm saying.
My worry is, if we get Trump in there, is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough to put this country on within 4 years? That's a nanosecond. 4 years, we got to turn this whole giant aircraft, the biggest of the biggest ever built. We got to turn it around in 4 years. I don't know if I'm going to be done. That's my worry.
Now, here's the thing.
More than he's a puppet.
I have confidence that it might be possible, and you want to know why?
Go
because
ahead.
something that you yourself brought up to me, I don't remember if it was this morning or yesterday, but you said, and it is 100% true, when Trump first came in 2016,
Yeah.
like, he had nothing to do with, he had no involvement in politics prior, like, at all. But the amount of things he got done, like the Abraham Accords.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
and that's just the beginning of it.
Like,
it
now,
got stifled completely.
Now he has 4 years of experience. He's had 4 years of not campaigning, but 4 years of doing his homework.
Right.
Well,
now he knows Washington.
If he is,
didn't know when
what I'm saying is, if he is who you believe him to be, he's gonna come out swinging so goddamn hard that he will 180 this no problem in 2 years.
And because now he knows Washington and all the political forms, and he doesn't. You know how many people he fired and rehired different people?
Yeah.
He was learning on the fly.
Yeah.
Now he's going to come in. He's going to have every Secretary of State in place exactly who he wants. He knows how they think for that job, so he has it on the run from get-go. Once he gets them all in place, and he's already working on it. If he loses the race, he loses the race. But he's getting ready now. Mm-hmm. Probably all year he's been getting ready to take over.
Yeah. Now, I want to bring up...
That's how adamant he is about getting this thing started fast.
You mentioned this earlier, and I want to bring this up here in a minute about Trump and Lincoln and their connection and such. But before we do that, Pete's...
As far as hatred goes.
Pete's, welcome to the show. Nice to have you here. I see that your microphone is muted. Oh, there you are.
I was eating food.
Oh, okay. Is it good food?
Always good.
Absolutely. Wife made it. Of course it's good.
Oh,
yeah, you betcha.
Well, it better, like you better say it's good, for your own good. So, if wife made it. But yeah, no, sorry it took so long. Welcome. Thank you very much for coming on, man.
No, that's good. It's all good. Look, my family's waiting on me for dinner, so I'm going to try to give a college dissertation in about 10 minutes. We'll see if I can actually handle it or not. But to address point number 1, regarding the assassination attempt and whatnot, the recent conversation, since I've joined, has swayed into reality versus conspiracy, and we don't know what's what. So I typically like to work with what the facts on the ground are, and typically what we know the facts on the ground to be: single shooter, air style rifle, 5.56 by 45. Counter snipers were utilizing 300 Winchester Magnum. Those are all kind of ancillary details that aren't really that important at this point in time, though.
Correct.
The other thing that we know is Kimberly Cheadle, the name that I mentioned specifically in chat earlier, is the head of the U.S. Secret Service, and she was at one point in time on Biden's protection detail during his term as VP.
You mean?
We also know that a lot of the Biden.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Excuse me.
I thought he was on Cheney. He was on Biden too.
She, according to what I've heard, I haven't looked into it too much personally, but I've heard that she is on she was on Biden's detail as VP. She left to go be head of security for PepsiCo, and then she came back to be head of U.S. Secret Service.
Well, that'd be amazing if she was on security with Biden when he was VP, and also.
But here's the fun thing about the Biden administration is that the Biden administration has almost entirely been run on personal connection, which is why I bring up the point of incompetence, because a lot of Biden's, whether it be heads of security, the secretaries of, say, transportation, Buttigieg, was somebody that he had a personal relationship. While it was adversarial during the campaign trail to get the nomination for the Democratic Party back in 2020, it was still a personal relationship that he held. A lot of the Biden administration is based upon personal relationships. So Kimberly Cheadle likely got her job based upon that personal relationship,
I agree.
which does not say to me competence. It says she was selected because he knows her.
Yeah.
That's what worries me.
And if you work that from the top down, which I don't think is an unfair assessment because of Kimberly Cheadle's policies of 30% by 30 female or whatever it may be, I don't think it is unfair to assume incompetence when you say that this appointment was based on a personal relationship. And that being said, it appears that U.S. Secret Service has not been great about allocating resources within the last probably handful of years, but definitely not within the last handful of months. According to reports that I've heard, U.S. Secret Service denied Trump additional security because Joe Biden was in town. But Joe Biden has almost zero threat level according to any threat assessment that I've personally seen, whereas Trump's threat assessment is significantly higher. But they have been addressing threats not necessarily threat assessments, but positions of power, which is kind of backwards when you're talking about any sort of security agency. You're not supposed to, just because it's the first lady, you're supposed to protect that individual with 20 people, and then a former president only gets 10. You're supposed to do it based upon threat assessment. But they have not been doing that within the recent number of months, which is concerning.
Yeah, very concerning.
Now, speaking of like threat assessment and all that stuff, like a point before it escapes out of my stoner head, because you, Loon, brought this up, and we've spoken about this before and everything, but a lot of people are comparing Trump to Lincoln and all that stuff in various ways. Now, here's a way that I'm not sure, like at least I haven't seen anybody talk about and all that stuff, but his recent his recent VP pick, what was his name?
J.D. Vance.
Yeah. Now, J.D. Vance, what do we know about him? Like he grew up poor, you know, like
J.D. Vance is a young Republican that comes out of Pennsylvania. He grew up poor. His claim to fame was his book Hillbilly Elegy, and then he rode that claim to fame into the senator seat as the junior senator of Pennsylvania. Yeah. He's 39 years old. This is it's his freshman year as a senator. He was previously anti-Trump, but then has recently come around on that. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
Well, didn't he also serve? Wasn't he like a Marine or something?
He was a Marine. He was a combat photographer.
Okay, well, still, I mean, like, you know, we've seen Full Metal Jacket. They show what combat photographers go through. So, yeah.
Just by chance, I happened to see him. I think it was 2 different interviews on a podcast back when he was running for senator. Now, why I'm getting a podcast of someone running in Ohio out here on the West Coast, I'm not quite sure. But
excuse me. Yes, you're correct. Ohio. I said Pennsylvania. I was mistaken there.
Yeah. Anyways, I was so because I had never heard of him before. You know, who was this guy?
Twice,
but I was so impressed with his. Now I can't even tell you the questions and everything, but I was so impressed with how sharp and dead on point he was, and what he was saying, and how I agreed with it. I love this guy, and I saw him again.
He's a very impressive young politician. There are not many.
And then I didn't even. I said, I hope this guy wins, and I didn't even hear until all of a sudden I heard, you know, months later after the elections, he was a senator. I go, hey, he did win.
Now let me get to the point I was making with this. Now, Abraham Lincoln was notorious. Now I'm not sure, you know, who came up with the quote, "Keep your friends close and your enemies closer," but Abraham Lincoln embodied that attitude. Because weren't a lot of people in his cabinet people who, like, not really were his enemies, but who opposed him politically and stuff? Because you don't want people who support, you know, not really, you don't, it's not that you don't want people who support you, but, like, if you appoint nothing but people who support you, you're just going to get a bunch of yes men. If you appoint people who question you and stuff, then, you know, they can look into things and come at angles that you would not, and you'd you know, have a better solution than you know, otherwise would come up with on your own, or if with just a whole group of yes men. Now, like Abraham Lincoln, and now with this, you said J.D. Vance is the name? With this Vance, who, you know, now is like, you know, a Trump supporter and everything, but the fact that he used to, you know, not be and everything, like, this is kind of like a little bit, you know, of a similarity as well between Trump and Lincoln. Like, in the very least, at one point he was, like, against Trump, but you want somebody who at least have a little bit of that attitude in them, because, you know, your friends, they're your friends, but the real people, like, especially in, you know, in positions like this, you know, power, if you're running a company, if you're running a country, you know, if you're running anything, you want people around you who will work with you, not for you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I got you. He doesn't want a yes man.
Yeah.
And he's not going to get him in him, I don't think.
I cannot speak to the political affiliations of Abraham Lincoln's cabinet. I would have to look into that through a little bit more research. What I can say is that the assassination attempt on Abraham Lincoln back in the 1860s, I want to say?
64, 65.
Wait, wasn't there an attempt before his actual assassination?
Well, no, hear me out with what I'm saying here, is that the assassination attempt on Lincoln was supposed to be a wider attempt on the remainder of the cabinet, and John Wilkes Booth was the only one that followed through with it.
Oh.
So
that I wasn't aware of.
whether I'm not aware personally of the political affiliations of the remainder of his cabinet, but I will say that the remainder of his cabinet was just as marked of a man as Abraham Lincoln was. John Wilkes Booth was just the only individual that was just schizo enough to go through with it.
I think when we're talking about Abraham Lincoln and today, we're not talking about President Trump and Abraham Lincoln. We're actually talking about the attitude of the country and the hatred that was there, the division. Very similar today. That's what we're really talking about in that era, not those two presidents in themselves. Other than one was assassinated and one was attempted, but that's not neither here nor there. I think it's the attitude of the country, where we were at, the hatred, divide. You know, it was a divide right down the middle, 50-50. And now I wasn't there myself, obviously, but I've been just about everywhere else. But that's my understanding and what I have read from the past. And I'm pulling information out from way back, so I could be wrong. But that's my interpretation.
But see, you want to talk about division and all that stuff. When you think about, like, you know, like they talk about this country hasn't been this divided since Vietnam. This country hasn't been this divided since the Civil War, right before, and all that stuff. Well, you know, like, what's one of the first things that you think about Civil War? Brother against brother.
Yeah.
Like you know.
This country was just as divided during the, 1996 election that Ross Perot spoiled between H.W. and... Was that Clinton?
Yeah. Good question. Yeah, Perot was really the...
Perot was the guy that he wanted, yeah.
Point being is that
that
there have always been strongly held beliefs
within
this country. People just tend to overlook them because of large historical events. People look at the Civil War and go, "Oh, that was bad," and that's the last important point, or Vietnam, for example. That's the last important point in American history that exists in the minds of the everyday American. But at the end of the day, I believe it was 1996. It might have been 1992. That Ross Perot spoiled the election for the Republican candidate, George H.W. Bush.
Yeah.
And
he was
the animosity and the hatred and the vitriol that existed after the fact of that election was very similar to that exists today. And I wasn't even alive back then, but I at least understand that because I study American history and I try to look into these things a little bit deeper than surface level, but most people do not. So just bear that in mind.
And I can only go by personal, because I was around for all these things. You get back into the Vietnam War, which you're talking a little bit earlier, I was. The difference was we were trying to stand up for what we believe more than I just see pure hatred today. I have never seen that in this country in my life.
The people that voted for Ross Perot were trying to stand up for what they believe in. And today, you have the Trump supporters that also are standing up for what they believe in.
Yes.
The vitriol and the hatred comes from the other side. Both
sides.
Hold on. That is not a indictment of the other side. That is a indictment of the media that they choose to consume. Right? And it goes just as well for the Republicans. If they choose to consume one-sided media, then they will only understand the hatred that is thrown their way and reciprocate. But if you have any sort of bipartisan or any sort of mixed consumption of media, you will understand that this is predominantly coming from one side, from a media standpoint, and it is completely a manipulation tactic.
I have personal experience, and I was actually going to get into these stories, that I'm getting it from both sides. All right? Like, now...
But are you getting it from both sides on a personal level or from a media level?
From the family.
Media is what it's
from my family.
Your family is not such a high level, though, is what I'm discussing.
It doesn't. No, that's not the point I'm trying to make.
I get what you're saying.
The point I'm trying to make is, like, we're talking about this country being so divided and everything. We talk about the Civil War, brother against brother. When I was a kid, I couldn't fathom, like, hating your own family to the point where you will shoot them, you know. But that happened. Now, let me get into this personal experience, you know, that I spoke about.
But let me pause you for a moment.
What?
I'm going to tuck away into the background so I can go enjoy dinner with my family.
Okay.
But I will still be
go
here.
And enjoy.
Go enjoy your family,
Thanks,
man.
I'm really glad you stopped.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by, dude.
And I will most certainly try to catch up with you guys here shortly because I would like to have a continued conversation with your father regarding the assassination attempt.
Go and enjoy.
I would like to switch topics here pretty soon because we're already well over an hour. But go enjoy your food, okay?
Yeah, do what you gotta do. I'm gonna go eat dinner.
Okay.
Peace.
No, anyway, the point I'm making here is that with all this divisiveness and everything that's been happening and all that stuff, this country is so divided and all that whatnot. As Pete was saying here about it being like mostly, and he's 100% right as far as like in the greater world, it's mostly 95% at least coming from the left. As far as it goes, because they control the media, they control Hollywood, they control the news, they control all that stuff. I mean, hell, even right-wing conservative news sources are controlled by the left. Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News and Sky News Australia.
Well, Rupert Murdoch died. Now
he created
his children.
Yes,
his children are running it, and they're on the left.
Yeah, exactly. But see, the point I'm trying to make is, from the down, this is the real trickle down, effect. From that top down, it has divided people all the way down to the family to such a level where one side of my family has basically ostracized me and the loon for just not getting the vaccination. Oh, why don't you just get it? Like, how come me getting poked affects how it works for you? That doesn't make any sense. But without getting into the potential of being flagged for medical misinformation, that's from the whole COVID thing, this from 2019 to 2023 and all that stuff. They're still trying to push boosters to this day every now and then, but they won't talk to us. They won't have anything to do with us because we're not jabbed. On the other side, another side of my family, because I'm not, I wasn't a Trump supporter at the time, but I might be here relatively soon. I went through a lot, but to put it all in a nutshell, I'm basically dead to them because I'm not a Trump supporter. So that's it from the other side. Like, oh, you're not with Trump? Oh, what are you, a rhino? Oh, what are you, a Biden supporter? Both sides are, if you're not with us, you're against us. There's no working. And it was like that from the top, and it's seeped through society all the way down to the family level. And now our family is split, and we have brother against brother mentality, like they did right before the Civil War.
What other topics you got?
I gotta go King, do you have anything to add to this before we move on up?
No.
So, anyway,
no.
There's this other video. I'm not going to play this one here, but there is this one video I do want to play in a minute. But there's, and I will be posting this into the underbar. But Dead Internet Theory: AI Killed the Internet. This video, I of course, after watching this this production here, strongly advise going and watching this. You and we watched this the other day. How AI is producing higher quality content faster, better, stronger. Yeah. Pumping it out, making videos, making movies, making poetry, making music, making books, just everything. Yeah, that needs a computer. Anything that needs some form of technology, pretty much all those jobs are essentially gone. It's not even worth getting into it because it's
gonna be.
It will be here soon.
And we're just in the infancy.
Yeah.
So can you imagine 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Can't imagine.
I can't. Well, that's why I'm saying, this one video here, I want to play this, and it's only 3 minutes long, but it's called The Last Job on Earth, Imagining a Fully Automated World, and I want to watch the entire thing, but, this is where we're heading. Now, are we all watching this here? I know Pete's probably isn't.
Yeah,
but,
he is. He's with his family. Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead.
But, King, are you watching my screen? King?
Maybe he's gone.
Okay, well, I guess he's AFK. So anyway, this is from The Guardian. So I will be posting this link down here. So all 3 of these video links will be down there. But I just want to play this to its fullest here. Talking over it from time to time. We saw, we already have those drones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this is all highly advanced, futuristic Star Trek borderline stuff here. to like, you know, get prescribed at your sink, you know, if you have any health defects or whatever. But like, this is
sale. For sale.
Let me go back here really quick.
Buildings for sale?
I think an apartment's for sale. So yeah, 1,000 apartments for sale.
Okay.
Still vacant. Okay.
So no one's in the apartments. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Assuming there's 1,000.
But see right there, like it's showing, you know, what you would look like in these various things. You know, there's other people shopping, everything. You don't even need to walk. She's walking, but the other person was on like one of those. Oh yeah, so this is like, you know, it's diagnosing you and all that stuff. So like this is all future technology and everything. This video is mainly to showcase, you know, what AI, you know, is coming. But right there, you know, she's in the hospital. Right there, like I talked over it. So she went to the hospital to get, you know, to get diagnosed, just a routine checkup, everything, but collect medication. But the thing isn't opening. Okay, like, you know, so the machine is having a malfunction. You see, the thing's closed. She can't collect her medication. Okay, now where's everybody? There's nobody there because everything's automated. Nobody has to be there. So now she can't collect her medication.
Yeah.
So I don't know how she got her medication if she did. But, you know, self-driving cars. You know, this is already a thing happening. Scares the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Apparently they're really predominant in New York.
Well.
Oh man. But you know, like self-driving street sweepers, VR factory music. Can you imagine an arcade but VR? Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at it. It's taking
Food bank.
no, it's taking the
Boarded up.
Well, yeah, all the jobs are gone. Everything's automated. But no, like it's look in the background. This robot here is getting rid of the graffiti. Even the graffiti painter people, that job is gone.
Yeah.
Like everything is gone. Our workforce, and I'm sorry to say.
Oh no. She's gonna be gone.
That's it.
Yeah.
Upgrading our workforce. You're out.
But I mean, like, you know, like, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my mind. It's terrifying. Like, the first thing that comes to my mind is if you've ever seen the Animatrix. There's a two-parter one in there. The second Renaissance. At the very beginning, like, all the machines are doing all the work. They're doing all the menial labor. They're doing everything. Like, anything that requires anything is. Meanwhile, all the humans are partying. They're having fun. You know, they're being catered to. Everything's tended to. Like, you know, there's no problems. Yada yada yada. That is hell to me personally. I want to do something with my life.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to sit here and relax and be pampered and catered to my entire existence. I want to go out. I want to get dirty. I want to sweat. I want to get injured. I want to earn my money. I want to I want to prove the reason why I'm breathing this air. I'm not here just to exist. I'm here to do something, damn it. And all this AI is taking everything.
Yes. And that's going to be one of the biggest problems. The Musks and a bunch of them, that was one of their biggest topics. There are going to be so many people with idle time. What are you going to do with them? Where's their self-worth come from? And this was years ago.
But see,
when
that's
they were
the thing.
talking of the concept of AI.
But see, here's the scary
thing.
thing.
It was actually a reality.
Here's the scary thing. You know, the whole concept of the Great Reset. You will eat the bugs. You will go into the chamber, and you will like it. You will have nothing. You know, like talking about Carl Schwab or whatever. Like talking about a Bond villain. But no, I've spoken to, you know, like, and these are kids. These are, you know, fucking 14, 15, 16-year-old, you know, kids. You know, I've spoken to them, you know, over these video games and everything, like, you know, on WoW Ascension and all, you know, there's a slew of people in there.
Yeah.
But I've interacted with people, you know, they say that they're 14, 15. I don't know, like, I didn't actually talk to them, so I didn't hear their voice, and even if I did, they could use a voice emulator. So, I don't know, unverified kids. But people saying that if they could, like, just plug their head into a VR unit and be in a pod where they're, like in the Matrix, where you're fed, you're taken care of, like your poop is sent away, you're fed food, you're just in a thing and you're just playing
whatever game you want.
Whatever game.
You can put whatever your mind thinks
and
about.
you're just plugged into the Matrix. They will go to that and faster than a heartbeat. I'm like, how can you call that a life? You're literally, you just plug, you get born and you plug into a machine and that's your existence.
Keep in mind, these are kids. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Well, but then
it
again,
sounds good to them right now. I don't have to go to school. Oh yeah, So I mean, you got to take it for what it is.
It's still scary that they even have the potential to have this attitude. Like, because eventually down the line is with
hell. If you had asked me, can I go surfing every day for the rest of my life? Oh, are you kidding me? I'm there. Sign me up. What's the difference?
Well, the difference is that like you don't control the tide.
Well. You get my point, though.
I get your point, but my point is like with this VR, you can always have the perfect wave. You can always have this. You can always have that. With surfing, you might not have a good wave. It might be like eventually you'll grow out of it. If you plug into something that triggers your stimuli constantly, then you're addicted.
Yeah. Yeah. The danger is far greater with putting something on your head. You're right. But, watching this whole thing, what worried me, she's going for meds and everything. It's not that she's not getting them. I'm saying, if machines can control that much, who knows what they're putting in your meds to control your,
Well, they're already doing that.
I mean, to control your anxieties or whatever.
Well, that's already happening.
And that's
Big
the first
pharma.
thing I started looking at. And then I'm interpreting.
Well, this is why I don't even take aspirin, especially after the whole Tylenol.
I'm just going by this movie that it's not
cyanide issue, but yeah,
not even addressed, and that's the biggest fear to me is what are they doing to control you?
But I mean, like, it scares the hell out because and let me explain, like, on her personal level, I'm a straight white conservative affiliated unvaccinated male, okay, like, and I wanted to bring this up earlier. I'm a constitutional libertarian. All right, because that adds into the whole thing about the whole Trump thing and all that stuff. Yeah, I wanted to mention that earlier. But anyway, so I'm looking around. I'm 37 years old. Like, I can't just get into some factory job or something. Like, I can't get certified because in the state of California, to get certified, you have to already be working for some place for at least 2 years. There's all these things about it. What I'm wondering is, okay, obviously content creation is going by the wayside. The whole internet is mostly bots and everything. Most interaction is all bots talking with each other, liking, each other's comments. King, tell us for a second, what Facebook has become. King? Well, he'll get back.
Alright, what?
There. Tell us, what Facebook has become.
Oh, man. You see recommended ads and
you're very muffled.
You see recommended pages.
You're very muffled.
You see recommended pages and advertisements more than you see actual people's posts.
Yeah, and most of those recommended pages and advertisements are AI backed, right? Like they're
just pages that post memes constantly.
So here's where I'm standing. Okay, as far as on the internet, it's a dead end. You make content creation, AI is already making, is already outpacing you with quality and quantity in spades. Video, music, books, poetry, movies, any media, anything. All right,
Yeah.
and then what are we gonna do? Are we all gonna just?
The answer is you have to think. We've had this conversation. You have to think outside of the box. And figure out, okay, what is outside of the box that isn't the norm that they're not going to just destroy me on. There are things. And I've said one thing with your show. They can't duplicate banter. They don't know what the hell that is. It's spontaneous. So that's outside of the box.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my point. Not easy. It's not an easy answer, but it's a quick one anyways.
But yeah, we've been talking for about an hour and a half. The loon is on his way out, so thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
We also have Jacob Peets, still presumably with his family. And last but not least, who do we have as well?
Refuge.
Yeah. And of course, Mayo Xander. And you, viewer, thank you very much for watching this entire borderline train wreck of a show. Like, you know, you have to watch the whole thing to fully understand it. Like, I know I was really going off my rocker at the beginning, but I hope it all made sense after I wrapped everything up. But anyway, thank you for watching. Until you catch us next time, next Monday, you know, which we might be doing some other shows, you know, like the history show, the news show, in between that show and this one. But anyway, until you catch us next time, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!
Deuces.
Alright, so where's my other thing? Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Alright, hold on a second. In stream.